Council on August 30th, 2022 to order at 6 p.m. Would you please join me in a moment of silence? And I know this is a special meeting and probably not many people are here or tuning in, but please keep the family of Jonathan Grant in your thoughts and prayers. Downtown business owner who's started Gather, as well as Black Oak Pottery here in downtown Waco, and unexpectedly and tragically died at the age of 42 a couple days ago. Leaving behind a beautiful wife and 3 kiddos. So keep them in your prayers for these downtown stakeholders. So please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Welcome to all of our guests and visitors. We provide an opportunity for the public to address the City Council on any agenda item or during the hearing of visitors portion of the agenda. On items other than public hearings, speakers will be allotted 1 3-minute presentation, regardless of the number of agenda items the speaker wishes to address. If you're here to speak and have not filled out a registration card, please see the city secretary staff at the registration table outside the auditorium so that staff can contact you if necessary. If you have handouts, please let us know at the beginning of your presentation, and staff will distribute those to council. And if you're unable to approach the podium due to physical limitations, a microphone is available to be brought to you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now, the first item on our business, on our agenda tonight is an informal report for the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget development questions follow-up. Are there any questions regarding the informal report? If not, then we will recess the work session and convene regular session at 6:03 p.m. And the next item on the agenda is a public hearing 2022 583 presented by Amy Berlaney Highland. Sorry, Amy.
And that's not Amy.
Roger Glick, I'm pinch hitting for Amy tonight. Honorable Mayor, council members, the purpose of this public hearing is to consider Resolution A, revising the schedule of drainage charges for the municipal drainage utility system in the city of Waco, schedule of drainage charges, to clarify billing for residential and non-residential properties and for properties with multiple customers, reflecting proposed changes to Article 10, Municipal Drainage Utility System, Chapter 26, Utilities of the City of Waco Code of Ordinances, and B, amending the fiscal year 2021-2022 operating budget fee schedule for the Drainage Utility Fund to reflect these same clarifications. These items were discussed during the work session prior portion of the August 16, 2022 council meeting.
Are there any questions for staff? Don't go too far, Mr. Glick. If not, we will open a public hearing for comments. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? If not, we'll close the public hearing and I'll ask for a motion.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Bearfield? Rodriguez? Palmer? Porter?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye.
Meek?
Yes. Motion carries. And the next public hearing is 2022-584.
Mayor, as Paul Kane and Nick Sarpy make their way to the table, I just want to say a special opening thanks to the team and the council. Crafting a budget for an organization this size takes quite a bit of effort on everyone's behalf, including the council's. And these two guys and their teams have done a remarkable job of responding to all the requests to the manager, which I know at times have been difficult, but very appreciated from my standpoint. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Paul Kane, and then we'll hear from Nick.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight we are here to have a public hearing at this special call council meeting to discuss the city's budget. Next steps here fall under other duties as assigned, if I can put it that way. All right. So hold in my hand tonight's top 10 list.
Oh, my goodness.
But on Austin Avenue.
Nice.
Tonight's category is the top 10 reasons why this budget rocks. Number 10, residents and businesses, safety will be bolstered by 12 officers and 4 new firefighters. We all know how important safety is, isn't that right, Paul?
Indeed.
Over there with the CMO Orchestra, Bradley Ford.
In the steep.
Sorry. Number 9, support for housing programs has increased to more than $11 million. Number 8, planned TIF support for building facades on Elm and LaSalle, $1.25 million. Number 7, hard hats and hammers. So if you're familiar with the cover of the budget, that'll be funny. If not, it won't be. Number 6, $215 million for the CIP includes new Riverwalk, fire stations on LaSalle, Floyd Casey Parks, and more exciting street construction and road closures. We know that the engineering department and public works department has a fever, and the only prescription for that fever is more closures.
Amazing.
Small business, the backbone of Waco has received $3.5 million in ARP and TIF assistance in this budget. Inflation, 9%. Waco taxpayers and ratepayers, 2.8%. We can all drop the mic on that. Thank you, Nick.
Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick.
Head up here, isn't it? All right. Next, number 3. Employees, who of course are the ones who make it all happen, will receive a 6% wage increase plus tuition assistance and family leave this year. So we're really happy to bring that forward.
That includes our police department, fire department as well?
It does. It does. Number 2, exemptions. Done a lot with the homestead exemption for the first time ever in Waco, offering a exemption for disabled persons, and of course seniors getting a sizable increase as well. So I'm really excited about that, and excited to provide that relief to our citizens. And then number 1, drum roll. Largest property tax cut since Calvin Silent Cal Coolidge. Wow. Maybe not that long ago, but it's been at least the last decade. So we're really proud and excited about that. Almost 3/4 of a cent this time. So I'm happy to bring that home. And so now for much more serious things, the next ACM over finance, Nick, sorry, probably. I said the next ACM over finance after that very poor performance.
Good
from
job,
me.
Paul.
So,
Thank you. That was awesome.
now, Nick will do the serious part, and I'll find a rock to hide under.
So, uh-oh.
Okay.
Go through it again.
1 through 10 this time.
Can I say, I like that picture in the bottom of the, finally got me in with the council.
Oh, yeah.
That is just,
Yes, ma'am.
that is just for you. Yep.
I like it too.
Been with the council. Around up here.
So we just wanted to highlight kind of the walkthrough where we're at today from the submitted budget, which was done on the 29th of July. City Manager Ford presented the budget on the 2nd, well, half of it. And then there was 2 budget audit and 1 work session presentation that continued discussion of the submitted budget. So what changes were made? We increased the property tax collection rate to 99% from 98%. We decreased the tax rate to 76 cents from 76 and almost a half cent. We decreased the property tax revenues in the general fund by $307,000 and decreased property tax revenues in the debt service fund by $448,000. Because of the change in tax rate, the pilot decreased by $37,000, which reduced expenses in the water, wastewater, and solid waste fund. We reduced the general fund fuel expenses by almost $126,000 as we reduced the price per gallon from $4.50 to $3.80. We increased the emergency management indirect cost revenue by $62,000. The net effect is 0 because it's a revenue increase and expenditure increase because this money is split between the county. The sales tax increased by $218,000 to offset the decrease in property tax as well as the decrease in expenditures. And then drainage fund revenues increased to 7.5 million because we increased the ERUs using the budget from 90,000 to 114,000, which is closer to the actual number. As far as the calendar goes, there's just one more date. Next week is the public hearing and first and final reading of the tax rate ordinance. And then we got one more thing for you.
Oh boy, video.
Oh, wait now.
See a movement here.
Nice.
I like it.
Man, nice.
Much improved.
Come on now.
Wow.
Very nice.
It's the brainchild of Kathy and Jose and Robbie in communications.
Nice.
Any other questions for staff? Any questions for staff?
This is the only other public hearing, right? So we can talk now just about stuff? All right. No, I love this, and I don't really have anything prepared or anything, but the top 10 deal, I like the way it summarizes what we're doing here. With, with some big numbers attached to this. What is it, the overall budget, general and all the utilities and everything, it's in 600 million, 650, something like that, which, we've got a lot to do, and so we need this kind of budget to get everything done that we've been working on. And while we're doing that, I mean, just starting from the top there, that tax cut, and the exemptions, which I think will help all Waco citizens. The tax cut will help the Waco residents as well as the commercial users. And in the face of that 9% inflation, we were able to kind of hold some of the expense increases together, which I applaud staff for really getting out the fine tooth comb and making sure that expense by expense that we were conscious and thoughtful about how we were setting up this budget. The 250 million in capital improvement projects. I mean, these are big things we're taking on. I've said many times in this forum about we're serious about getting the Riverwalk done. We're serious about getting the infrastructure put together, our streets and roads back to where they need to be. And it takes money and good management and foresight and planning to do that. And I'm so proud to be up here with this council. We're tackling these things. And I won't go up and down each one. I do want to just mention, this was in the informal report, and Mayor, I'm sorry I didn't mention it then. But a couple of things that we've kind of been asking for, like the expense, on the rates, where we do the rates, and I asked, can you tie the rates to the frequency, to the number? And I think we've been asking for that since 2016. And it just proves that if you give me 6 years, I can get anything done here in this country. But we got that. We've got I noticed there was some nice Gantt charts in there showing the progress of all these projects we're keeping track of. And the year over year, Nick, you got that? The year over year stuff in the quarterly budget review. I just like the way we're looking at this in a very businesslike and fashion where we can all kind of tie into it a little bit easier. So pretty soon my skills will no longer be needed here, because we're getting this all figured out. But anyway, no, great budget. I'm excited to be up here helping you guys figure this out. Keep up the great work.
On behalf of staff, let me say we appreciate your questions and input and challenging us to look at it a little bit different way, maybe from a typical public kind of reporting. So we appreciate your questions and comments as well. It makes us better.
I do have some somewhat lengthy comments about the budget following on Councilmember Holmes's comments, but I want to express my gratitude to our mayor, the council, city manager, city staff, Paul, Nick, and your team for your great work in producing this budget, which I think does a world of good for our community. After alleviating some of the burden on our most vulnerable taxpayers and cutting the tax rate for a second year in a row, this budget strengthens public safety with the hiring of new police and firefighters, dedicates historic funds to public infrastructure, and with paid parental leave for city staff, reaffirms our commitment to being a welcoming place for families. The budget seeks to meet the infrastructure and quality of life needs for our neighbors and high-growth areas of the cities in the city as well. For my district, I celebrate a new fire station on Ritchie Road, a major capacity upgrade to Chapel Road, and the creation of new parkland in West Waco, connected by trails. But finally, for me, the most inspiring budget item this year is the new children's librarian position in East Waco, advocated for my colleague in District 1. I think all areas of our city need librarians and library services. While this is a meaningful step in the name of equity, it's also a building block in our democracy. As we journey from infancy to adulthood, we learn what it means to be a responsible citizen. Libraries play a critical role in preparing children for informed participation in our civic life. They provide information, internet access, story time for kids, lending materials, gathering places for our neighborhoods, and quiet space for study and contemplation. This librarian position is about ensuring that all our children have equal access to libraries, but it's also about nurturing responsible, engaged, and conscientious citizens. And for these reasons, I'm very proud to support this budget. So thank you to all of you.
So, spoken like a family that has a librarian in it. And-
Absolutely.
Right? It's so many things, and Councilmember Holmes and Borderood have expressed it, to the point where not much is necessary to be said, but what I appreciate in the work that this team has done is provided an opportunity that levels a playing field in communities, specifically District 1, District 4, District 2, that have over time been marginalized and not addressed from an infrastructure perspective in the way that promotes the growth that our city is known for. And that we have taken time and have been doing this for a while now. I know this council, past councils, have really turned their face to the light to see, the things that were once kind of shoved in the dark. And I appreciate that. The other point is that those unintended consequences that come with growth, because sometimes it bore a burden for our small business owners and bears a burden for our small business owners. And that we can't solve the problems, all of them, but that we saw the need to address them. And I appreciate our mayor, I appreciate our city manager for figuring it out of how to offer a little support in a way that we could for people who would just get up to go to their shops or restaurants or whatever business is in the middle of a construction zone, which was not it wasn't their fault, but it is their problem. And so, that is, along with all of the other amazing things, this top 10 list will be circulating on social media in moments, I'm quite sure. But that is something that was incredibly important to me, and I know to us. So we appreciate your work.
I agree with my council members, and I know whatever Kelly says, I'm going to agree with that as well, because we all have looked at this budget and gone to sleep with it and everything else with this budget. But what I really want to say is, from District 2, thank you. This is the most movement in the 20-some odd years that I have been on this council that I have seen for District 2. I've never had any place where I can put new homes or add homes. Now Floyd Casey Stadium is coming up, and we're going to have different variety of homes there. That means a whole lot to the district. To me, Cotton Palace Park as well, which is right in the middle of my district. Thank you for that. The inclusive park that we're going to have here in the near future, there by Floyd Casey Stadium, and everything else that's going on at Floyd Casey Stadium. The movement in District 2 is just phenomenal. The Riverwalk is also District 2.
Yeah.
So everything that's going on in District 2, in the Riverwalk, is part of my district, and I'm real proud of that. I'm also proud that we're going to recognize the homeowners that used to, and the people that lived in that area, that we're going to recognize them. It's always been said to me, and I've always thought it, we've never been recognized The Hispanic community has never been recognized here in the city, but now we have a way to do it, and we're going to do it. And I'm real proud of that. I'm real proud of that. The budget for each department was easy for me to read through. I've always been particularly interested in the fire department and the police department. And so I'm glad we're adding more officers, and I hope that we keep that up because our city is growing and growing and growing. And we need to know that our residents feel safe in their homes and in their neighborhoods, and that they can pick up the phone and call. And we'll have a quick response, either from the fire department or the police department, and that's real important to me. District 2 has nothing but frame homes, wood frame homes, so to me, yes, that's real important. Thank you for the new fire station we're putting in on the south. You know, that's real important to us. And all the new businesses and projects that are going on the south, not all of it is in my district. Some of it is in District 1, but it's South Waco, so I claim it.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you, Nick, thank you, Paul, thank you, City Manager, and the council members here who have helped do this. It wouldn't be as nice and as prosperous without a council that comes in and backs you up and says, this is where we need to go, and this is where we're gonna go. Leadership of our mayor, my God, it's been awesome. So thank you for this budget. Thank you for doing everything that you have done and going to do in District 2. My district sends their thank you through me. So Nick, Paul, thank you.
Thank you for those. Thank you.
Staff, I appreciate all of the hours and hours and hours of hard work that have gone into this. I particularly appreciated the different forms of documentation y'all created, both for us and for residents, the 3-pager, the 13-pager, the really casual 1,500-pager. But it was so accessible, and the level of transparency, I think, continues to build trust with our residents and between council and staff, so I'm grateful for that. Things that I'm excited about in this budget are continued investment in our infrastructure and us working down the $1 to $2 billion worth of unmet infrastructure needs we have. I am thrilled that we're passing paid parental leave for our parents of all genders, for adoptive parents, foster parents, biological parents. I think that's such an equity win for us that will help attract great employees. I see a large Dean Highland contingent, and I know that all of us are really excited about funding for the Dean Highland Park, which neighbors have advocated for so long. So thank you for that investment. I think to echo that of my council members, I think there are exciting things both citywide and in each one of our districts that we're seeing. We've got a Dean Highland Park. We've got parks coming out in West Waco, in China Spring. We've got equity work with librarians in District 1. And the STEAM Center. We've got so much going on in District 2, and we're seeing housing. It's exciting to be on this council in this moment and see the momentum and see us making decisions through a lens of intersectional equity, which I think is embodied by these exemptions for our residents that are seniors, for our residents with disabilities. Thrilled for the small business investment. So many of our neighbors that are small business owners are resilient as hell, but they've had to be resilient as hell in order to stay in the game. And I hope some of these dollars can help relieve some of the stress that they have experienced amidst COVID-19. Really excited for the way that we have dollars set aside for facade improvements. I know that there will be lots of residents chomping at the bit for those. And then the last piece is we, as a council, are deeply committed to public safety. I'm excited to see the PD and fire department positions. Would also love to see in future budget years us getting creative to do the right person, right role. I think some of the calls that PD is responding to absolutely need to be trained law enforcement officers, and some probably need to be clinical social workers, and some need to maybe be paramedics. And so would love, as we continue to build out public safety in our community, for us to look at examples of other communities that are doing this really creatively and leveraging a number of different tools for each scenario. But overall, really excited about this. Thank you for all the work. Thanks for the great slide. This level of entertainment and performance was top notch.
I can't say it better than what's already been said by everybody. Thankful for a team who can do significant and excellent work, but also can still have fun in the process, including tonight. But I think that is what I hope our team is about, is doing really good, significant work and having fun while we're doing it. I think that Waco is the best city in Texas. I think it's going to continue to be the best city in Texas for everybody. And I think that this budget and our team reflects that. So I'm incredibly thankful for our council. I'm incredibly thankful for our city staff, the city manager's team, our city legal team. Thank you to everybody who's worked so tirelessly to put together a very complicated budget to do really incredible things for our community. And I'm very, very thankful and believe that Waco's greatest days are ahead. And so much of that is because of the diligent work of our team. So very thankful for that. And with that, are there any other questions or comments, questions for staff or comments? If not, we will open a public hearing, and I have 2 cards here tonight. And the first is Emily Hinojosa. And on deck, we have Austin Wright.
Mayor Meek and council members. Just before I kind of share the comment I have prepared, just want to affirm what's already been said maybe from the macro level, that on behalf of, I'm the president of the Dean Highland Neighborhood Association, and we feel very included in the process, both in terms of being able to speak ideas about what's possible in the future, and also throughout the process of this budget creation. There felt like there were multiple times to speak into it, and so we're grateful for that. I'm speaking on behalf of our Neighbor Association board in regards to this proposed budget, again, from a micro level and how this is affecting our community. Our board is in favor, as Councilmember Palmer mentioned, of allocating the capital improvement funds to be spent on land acquisition in Dean Highland for a park. As many of you already know, at least I know I've spoken with about half of you about this, we are very hopeful that that land, that it would be the site of the old Hillcrest Hospital, which is adjacent to the Waco Police Station. It's kind of our default community gathering space as it is. We host our events in the parking lot and are grateful for that. We're in favor of the site because it's been historically integral to the health and well-being of this community. Many people were born in this spot. It's been integral to our community, but also to the greater Waco. To our knowledge, the land is still privately owned by Baylor Scott & White and would be available for purchase. And we would support that if there's an opportunity to do so. And I think we see a park, there are a lot of things in neighborhood associations where there's not a lot of agreement. And then there are things where there is agreement. And this is one where there is unanimous support, which I'm grateful for. We think it offers, just like Parks and Rec has said, we think it offers much needed access to green space and physical activity, but also providing a unique context for positive community police interactions, which we've already been working on in Dean Highland, but we feel like a space would add that in the core of the city. And we welcome, I didn't know city council meetings were so fun, so this has been great. Maybe number 11 on your list is that this park is a big deal. So we're really excited about this conversation. So just want to thank the city staff all the way down. I think if our neighbor association came back online around the time that the neighborhood engagement office was emerging, and the grant process and all of that infrastructure has helped us to get a line item, and that's a big deal, and we're grateful for that, and we recognize the time that's gone into that. We're excited to see the proposed budget and ask for your support of it, so thank you.
Next we have Austin Wright.
Evening, Mayor Meek and council members. This is my first city council meeting. Like she said, I didn't know how much fun it was going to be. So that's kind of a nice surprise. And first, I guess I'll just introduce myself a little bit. I've been in Waco about 2 years. Actually, in August, I moved here 2 years ago to Dean Highland, and lived right across the street from the green space in the parking lot where they tore down the hospital. And first off, though, I'd like to just take a second to say thank you to all you guys. I haven't ever been very involved in city government, and I'd like to be more involved in the place that I live. And so to do that, I decided to take a look through the budget, and about 45 minutes later, I was completely lost. But it made me very thankful that there's people doing that kind of work for us in the community. So thank you to all you guys. I know it can be maybe a thankless job up here sometimes. So, but otherwise, yeah, I just I wanted to say my piece a little bit about that land. Living right across the street from it, you know, I see just the activity in the neighborhood. Plenty of people still use that. I guess it was denoted as a trail around the land. I see people run through there all the time, walk their dogs. I and my roommate there both have dogs, and we like to play across the street in the open fields with them and stuff. And I see families with their kids out in the torn up parking lot riding bikes and having fun. And I just think, man, it would be really cool to see something really usable for the whole community there. And so thanks for, you know, having this on the budget. It's exciting to be living across from something that could be a beautiful park one day for, you know, me and the rest of the community to use. So there's my 2 cents. I'll see y'all next time.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else here to speak on this item? If not, we will close the public hearing, and we will need 3 separate votes on this tonight. I would entertain a motion.
Mayor and council, before we enter the voting process, Nick needs to read one part of the script to describe the actions that need to be taken tonight.
Okay.
All right, so to comply with Chapter 171 of the Texas Local Government Code regarding conflicts of interest and to avoid any appearance of impropriety, one budget item needs to be acted on separately. A separate vote must be taken to approve the funding for the Baylor University-related item, as Councilmember Josh Brodeur has filed a disqualification form with City Secretary. This item is found on the contributions page of the proposed budget, listed as Baylor Campus Town under General Fund Contracts with Other Expenditures. The council then will consider action to approve the remainder of the operating budget and capital improvements program for fiscal year 22-23, including fee schedules, glossary, and acronyms, and the certified tax rate worksheet. At the same time, council will consider authorizing the city manager to expend funds, including the remainder of the operating budget, without further council action for those items listed in the resolution, including employee salaries and benefits, temporary employment and recruitment services, regulatory permit fees, utility services for facilities and operations, approved refund contracts, debt service, bond payments, bank fees, armored car services, investment fees, and collection fees, various services, upgrades, rental fees, lease payments, and supplies for city computers, copiers, and telephones, certain solid waste carts and dumpsters, certain city cell phones and wireless devices, certain mowing services, operation and management of the Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness Center, legal services for water permitting and watershed protection and water supply matters, services provided by McLennan County Appraisal District and McLennan County Tax Office, existing service contracts with Cameron Park Zoological and Botanical Society, Inc., and RAP Development USA, Inc., authorized business grants, professional auditing, financial consulting services, operation and management of the Rosemont Cemetery, lease payments for city facilities, and tourism marketing as part of the agency of record contract. In addition, when the budget requires raising more revenue from property tax than in the previous year, Texas law requires a separate record vote to ratify the property tax increase reflected in the operating budget and CIP plan. Since the budget does raise more revenue from property taxes than last year, a separate vote is required. And now I turn it over to you.
I would entertain a motion to approve the portion of the 2022-2023 Budget and Capital Improvements Program to provide for the city's agreement regarding Baylor Campus Town.
Move for approval.
Councilmember Borderoot has filed affidavits of substantial interest. On the first vote, a public hearing, 2022-584. Is there a motion? Oh, sorry, we have a motion and a second. Please poll the council.
Councilmember Bearfield,
Yes.
Rodriguez. Palmer,
Aye.
Holmes,
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. I would entertain a motion to approve the remainder of the 2022-2023 Budget and Capital Improvements Program, including fee schedules, glossary of terms, acronyms, and certified tax rate worksheet, and to authorize the city manager to expend budgeted funds as outlined by the budget resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Bearfield, Rodriguez. Palmer, Borderoot.
Yes.
Holmes, Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. Finally, I would entertain a motion to ratify the property tax rate increase reflected in the operating budget and capital improvements program for the city of Waco fiscal year 2022-2023. Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Bearfield,
Yes.
Rodriguez. Palmer, Borderoot.
Yes.
Holmes, Meek.
Motion carries. And the next item to consider is Resolution 2022-585. And this is a resolution amending the City of Waco financial management policies statements dated effective October 1st, 2022. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Bearfield,
Yes.
Rodriguez. Palmer, Borderoot.
Yes.
Holmes,
Aye.
Meek.
Carries. And the next item on the agenda is ordinance 2022-586.
This is an ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, amending Article 10 Municipal Drainage Utility System of Chapter 26 Utilities of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Waco, Texas, to clarify billing for residential and non-residential properties and for properties with multiple customers, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing a severability clause, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for penalties, and finding and determining that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. This ordinance was approved by 5-0 council vote on first reading on August 16, 2022.
Is there a motion?
Move for approval on second reading.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Bearfield, Rodriguez. Palmer, Borderoot.
Yes.
Holmes,
Aye.
Meek.
Carries. And the next item on the agenda is ordinance 2022-587.
Ordinance establishing administrative departments of the City of Waco, Texas, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing a savings clause, providing for an effective date, and finding and determining that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. This ordinance was approved by 5-0 council vote on first reading on August 16, 2022.
Is there a motion?
Approval on second reading.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Rodriguez. Palmer,
Aye.
Borderoot.
Yes.
Holmes, Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. Next is the hearing of visitors, and I have one card, and that is for Mr. Ephraim Herring.
Good afternoon. My name is Ephraim Herring at 1044 Chestnut. I have some concerns. The budget looks nice, but I have some concerns of unfinished business. On the MLK corridor, you got two hotels. They started in 2017, 2018, 2019. They're not finished. You got the Bridge Street corridor that was said it was finished, but it's not finished. So my question is, we were told for that side for District 1, east side of Waco, there was going to be hotels there to put in employees. Well, I know they got TIF funds. We ain't got no employees there. It's not open. Other thing brought my attention to is I didn't see anything in there about East Waco is considered a food desert. So the individual that had an idea of doing that is no longer interested in it. Matter of fact, she sold the building. So we're trying to figure out now, is there anything in the budget we can see that pushes a food supply place over there in East Waco? It used to be an HEB on Spade, but it's no longer there. Baylor bought it out and stuck houses there. So my question is, you put one over on the east side, you have Baylor students, and you have the new stadium over there, and you should be able to have at least a food place where people can go buy food. And for the older adults, I mean, they like walking to Belmead during the nighttime is not a good thing if you're trying to get a food. And last but not least, and I get it out of y'all hair, is I'm looking at the STEM Center. It's nice to have a STEM Center on the Riverwalk, but the question I have is, what's the environmental impact? Because Texas Parks and Wildlife gave money to that for the ducks and all that stuff we see there now. So my question is, what's going to be the environmental impact, and what's the maintenance cost going to be for that area? Y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you, sir. We'll have staff look into that. Is there anyone else who would like to speak during the hearing of visitors? If not, we'll close the hearing of visitors, and we will now recess the regular session for, well, do we have an executive session tonight? We do have an executive session. Okay. We will now recess the regular session for executive session as read into the record by the city secretary. 6:41 p.m.
Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.072, and Economic Development, Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.078, or 087. We are now in executive session.